Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
You might have heard that being spiritual is so important to make an impact in your life for the best. And we all have a different definition of what being spiritual means. Well, let's factor out church and religion. You can still be spiritual and it can still change your life. But how do you do it? How do you identify it? She is an international spiritual director, a clergy woman. She's a speaker, author, has worked with so many people, grief counselor as well. And I've learned so much even in the few times that we've gotten together. Erin King is with us. Hi, Erin. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Steve. Nice to be with you again.
You too. You too. And we, in our first episode, we did talk about this thing called spiritualism, having spirit. Why don't we go back and define what that is before we go down the road of how do you find it when it's not connected to any kind of religion?
Sure, that sounds good. A couple assumptions I bring to the table is one, as a human being, we have a physical body, an emotional, psychological aspect of ourselves, and a spiritual component of being human. And what does that mean when I say that? Spiritual means having a relationship with self, other, and the divine. And other can be another human, it could be trees,
Hmm.
plants, flowers, it could be animals, it could be the cosmos and the stars. It's outside of yourself. So that really encompasses a broad spectrum of understanding mystery, right? So again, I'm always working with people from different contexts and background, and I like to get the definitions cleared so that we're saying the same words and we mean the same things as best we can.
Gotcha. Yeah. And that's one point you bring up, Erin, the spiritual connection with ourselves. How
Mhm.
would you define that? Is that a certain feeling or having faith, not religion, having faith in yourself?
I think when I say a relationship with self is knowing oneself, having an awareness of myself, how I project myself, being aware of what's going on unconsciously as well, and making that conscious, with the intent that the more aware I am of who I am, that I will have a better, I guess, way of being in relationship with other people. I don't project my stuff onto other people. In fact, I go, oh, that's me. Sorry. Or put a context. Oh, for instance, I might come from a place and say, I'm going to put my chaplain hat on, or I'm going to put my mom hat on, or my grandma hat on, so that when I say, people go, oh yeah, that's what she's talking about. So that's it. I mean, understanding the self is so broad. I mean, think about the whole spectrum of psychology, right? With many years of broadening that understanding of who we are. So it's coming from that place when I say self. And then how to understand myself with the big S, meaning, and that comes from Jung's work, the self that is connected to the divine, the spiritual mystery that's bigger than just just me in this body. So it's that both and, it's not either or. And what Izumi Wellspring Center does, my business, is that we provide space, both physical space if you come in person, and psychic space or virtual space, to do that inner work, discovering who you are, and outer work. How am I in relationship with others? What is unique about Izumi Wellspring is that it's both and. I understand myself because I am in relationship with others. And when I say in relationship with others, it's building community that who can witness who I am in the present time. So that can happen whether I'm sitting in a circle in a living room or we are engaging with a Zoom screen of six other people. It happens because we see each other and we give attention to each other so that each person realizes they matter, they count. And we can do that in multiple ways. So that's what the gift of Izumi Wellspring brings. It's that both and. The other thing too that I've been realizing over the last couple of years since the pandemic is that the gift of virtual connection, like what we're doing, can happen. And we're finding that those ahas, those interconnections can happen for people even when we work virtually. So it's like, wow, people never realized that. We always assumed we had to be in with each other in the present in the same room, right? And we're finding that spiritual connection can move through time and space.
When you say the spiritual connection, Erin, are you also referring to the energy?
Yes,
Okay.
very much
Is that
so.
what it is? Because, we do this virtual thing. All right, so we're not next to each other,
Hmm.
but there's an exchange of energy because energy knows no time and space.
That's right.
Do we equate, do we or should we equate energy with spiritualism in some regards?
Well, again, spiritualism is another frame, right, for faith understanding, not faith, understanding meaning in the world, this world, and beyond what we don't understand. So, spiritual um, is just a word to explain mystery, awe, wonder within and without. Yes, energy is
Hmm.
part of that. It's as you understand more of the physics behind connection and that human connection, my energy field reverberates and meets yours. And so we are connected that way. We don't see that, but we know the consequences of that. And so Izumi Wellspring brings a container to hold the energy fields of those who attend. And then with the facilitation of myself in groups, we make that a safe enough container for people to do what they need to do when they come. For some people it's just, I want to come and have fun, be surprised. It happens. For another, they're dealing with an inner wound and they want healing, so we provide safety for that, so they can do that. um, for others, it's like they want to explore their artistic, creative self. So we do more playful things, and that's fun. And in that, ahas happen,
Hmm.
understanding of self happens, and they find out there are others who think like them and feel like them that they thought they were the only ones. So again, it builds community and that human companionship in the midst of who am I?
What do you say to somebody who doesn't go to church, synagogue, nothing? They don't look at religion as something that's important in their life, but they just feel kind of lost.
Mhm.
And maybe they did back in the day, but now they kind of push that off to the side and it just doesn't support them for whatever reason. We have all
Right.
different reasons. It could be, I know somebody who lost somebody close to them and they said, you know what? I'm done with the religion thing for now.
Right.
But
Yep.
they want to feel a connection to the universe or they feel like something is missing.
Mhm.
What do you say to them and how do you help them as a spiritual director?
Right. So as a spiritual companion, what we do is I listen to where they are in the moment. And depending on where that is and what pops for me, because I'm paying attention to mystery, is I might suggest, let's look outside. And what does nature tell us about where you are right now? Look
Hmm.
at one thing. What's one thing in nature that we're looking at is pulling your attention right now? And in doing that, we find they find ahas, right? Um, it's I have found in my own personal experience and working with so many others that creation has answers for us in what we're dealing with right now. And
Hmm.
so sometimes we need help in seeing that more clearly. And I'm one of those people that I don't know what to say is that I work with the unseen, right? That's my area of expertise. So what I do is help people see, perceive, understand the unseen. And I have a variety of tools in my toolbox or medicine bag, if you want to use that word, to help people do that. And it's hard to explain it. And it's only when you experience it, you understand, you get what I'm talking about.
Hmm.
For instance, people who would come into Izumi Wellspring Center after 5 minutes, that I can't tell you how many people say, oh, it's so peaceful and calm here. And they just settle in. Their anxiety they had coming in just quiets down. And when we quiet down our nervous system, our physiology, we're able to be attentive to what's going on right now. And that's what we play with. That's the attention we do. So, and we laugh. Sometimes people cry because it's so silly, or the ahas, the tears come because it's like, I understand now. I get it. This is what I've been wanting all along. I didn't have the language to explain or express the need I had. This is it. And that kind of aha and connection happens over and over and over again. So I'm trying to find language that doesn't have language to draw people in and say, if you're missing something, if you want something, you're not sure what it is, come explore at Izumi Wellspring. The neat thing about what we have to offer is that not only do we have a space here in Central California, but it's movable, it's portable. I can come to where you are, whether virtually or we can do something in your own home, have a group gathering in your own home space, in your neighborhood, your library, community center, outside in the garden, and we can provide that space for you. So that's again the both and of the gift of being able to move with the spirit as the spirit calls.
I love how you present it in such a way where your role, your gift is showing what can't be seen,
Correct.
figuring it out. And also, I think so impactful for somebody that's looking for some kind of spiritual feel is, like you just said, going outside
Mm-hmm.
and seeing the beauty or seeing the lesson in something, even something we all take for granted, something that could be insignificant, like a beautiful tree. We'll just pass by this tree. Gotta go. Yeah, I'm on to the other thing. Well, maybe if we took a second to look at that tree, maybe we might feel something. Maybe we might have an epiphany. Well, we don't even know until we do it. And do you find, Erin, that happens with a lot of people that you work with, where it's just like, I didn't see it. It was right in front of me the whole time.
Exactly. That is true.
Mm.
And even to the extent, I don't know if I shared this one before, but a year ago, um, so in my yard, I live in a neighborhood. I went out and I was involved in doing the things of my home. I went out to look outside my backyard on my patio. It was a dead rat. And I went, huh? What is a dead rat doing on my patio?
Well, what,
And
listen, right away, your radar goes up. Why the red eye? What's going on? Is something, bad going on here? Right, exactly.
and so it became a metaphor for me for that day and the rest of the week is what is the universe trying to say to me?
Yes.
How is that energy field connected to mine? And it could be simple, it could be very simple. It could mean this rat was knowing it was ready to die and wanted to die in a safe space. Okay, that works.
Yep.
And I honored and respected the rat and I buried him in the dirt ways. But the point is that it also became a metaphor for me, right? What in my life is no longer working? What is just finished?
Do you believe in that situation that that was potentially a sign for you?
Of course,
Okay.
yes.
Did
So
I'm still trying to figure one out. Can I
mhm.
share it with you?
Yeah, just a second. So
Sure, sure.
yes, I think me as a human, and I want to extend that to all of us humans, is how can we pay attention of the divine, the mystery, interacting in our life, present time, all the time. That's my goal as a human being that has a spiritual component. So I'm every day I'm listening for a song on the radio, a TV commercial, whatever it is, something in nature. Oh, and opening my eyes. When I get those ahas, I realize I'm not alone. That the divine, the spirit world, those guides are with me all the time. I just need to pay attention that they're there. So go ahead. Let's hear
I
what you're
completely agree with you.
okay.
And I think that's where a lot of us go wrong. And I feel that if you want a sign, ask for a sign,
Mhm.
but be prepared to maybe not get the one you were looking for,
Exactly. Yes.
and also be prepared to receive the sign whereby you need to pay attention. it
Uh-huh.
might not present itself in a very obvious way.
Mhm.
So about 2 months ago, I don't know if I told you the balloon story,
Tell me again. I
but
can't
I
remember.
opened my front door
Hmm.
and there are black and gold balloons, a whole arrangement of them, probably 12, 15, whatever,
Okay.
sitting on my door at my on
Right.
my path. And I'm like,
Uh-huh.
well, that's weird.
Hmm.
Thought about it. I don't wonder where they came from. Maybe somebody had a party. There's no venue near me, nothing like that. And I
Right.
was like, on my radar, but I got nothing. Fast forward about 3 weeks later, I open my door. There's more balloons. And these are orange and white.
Okay.
Big arrangement, just all just sitting there. And I'm like, all right, somebody's playing to me. Something's up here. So I go to the security camera
Hmm.
and I see the balloons rolling down the street and
Um,
making their way up my path. But here's the thing,
uh,
the path to my door, picture it going this way, my door is over here.
yeah.
There's two cement pillars. The
Right.
opening is only about 4 feet wide. So the
Right.
balloons had to roll and then roll in.
Oh.
And apparently it happened twice. Again, there's no venue. It was winter, right? And people aren't having parties outside, and the balloons could have gotten loose. I have yet to figure out what it is. Still think about it, and I speak with friends and they tell me, oh, well, okay, so orange is the color of, let's say, a new beginning. Maybe
Mhm.
that's a sign for you. And the black and gold is a sign to let something go. Everybody has a different theory. Haven't yet figured it out. I am convinced it's a sign, but I'm still, I wonder what it was. I don't know. Got nothing.
Mhm. That's great. That, and again, if I was sitting with you, we would explore that.
Sure.
What do balloons do? The
And you know what?
colors.
I'm sure you would do, and we can't do it here because of time, but you
Yes.
would start looking at my life. What's going on in your life right now? You've got
Mhm.
that happening, and yeah, there's a lot going on, just like all of us. We got that
Yep.
happening over there. Oh, wait a minute. The balloons are connected to potentially this thing that's going on, right?
Mhm. Yeah. And then the next, another question would be, why would the spirit world wants you to know this? What is it about mystery that wants to say, Steve, pay attention? Not in a caring way, right? A
Sure,
loving
sure.
way. There's
Yep.
something there for you. Come on, pay attention. We
Right.
did it the first time. Let's try different colors. Let's see if you can get it.
Totally.
Being a little bit more playful about it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and you can't even answer the balloon question because you don't know, my life situation. But I'm on a journey, and it's now 2 years in the making, lots of changes, and I truly believe the balloons are connected to it, but I
Mhm.
haven't made the connection yet. And you
Yeah.
know what? You just popped something in my head. I should ask for the answer. I never asked
Okay.
for the answer. I tried to
Uh,
figure it out for myself.
yeah.
Why the heck would I just not ask, spirit,
Yeah.
universe, and say, listen, can you please reveal what it is? I would appreciate it. Please tell me what these balloons mean. You're trying to tell me something. I know you are, but I don't know what it is.
Exactly. Exactly.
Mhm.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Have you had others have, aha moments when they figured things out?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I and that's why it's Izumi Wellspring, really, when I say the wellspring, it really comes from the person within. So it's not like there's a set template, there's not a set steps. It's multiple opportunities from whoever and wherever you are in your journey.
Hmm.
Um, and so for some people, it's an artistic, creative experience. For another, it's sitting in a ritual. For another, it's listening to music. For other, it's sitting out in nature and seeing what's happening and seeing what forms up. For it's a new mom with her baby coming in a group of women and crying because she hadn't been with anybody for over 3 weeks, having a cup of tea. So for each person, it's different, but for each of those different experiences are equally valuable because it opens up and that person leaves the Izumi Wellspring Center feeling more connected to self and well-being. And that's what we're all about. Finding that sense. What do you need for a sense of well-being, especially in the world and in a society as it is today? You can do that. You can still experience joy and connection and love, even when all the other stuff is going on.
Hmm. Do you think that many of us aren't connected to ourselves, and that's where we're going a little stray, a little awry?
I have a number of thoughts about that, but yes, and it's not just that's the piece that I think is missing. It's the both and. I think we need, for a sense of well-being, we need to know ourselves or know the mind, body, spirit connection and be in community with other people. It's not either or. Um, and that is really important for the both and. For I can witness to you and remind you, Steve, you matter. And you can witness to me and say the same thing. And then we try to live that out in our everyday lives. So I
Hmm.
think it's the both and, as well as personally, I think we have lost touch with the divine feminine. As
I'm sorry, I
individual
want to make sure I hit that clear. The divine,
feminine.
explain, please.
Um, when people talk about divine, oftentimes they think God and they think a male imagery comes up,
Okay,
father, son, protector.
understood.
Um, divine feminine would be more of the mother,
Nurturer.
nurturer, compassion, love. And please don't hear that it's either or, it's both and. I understand that. But we've lost touch with that piece of connecting with. The divine can be the nurturer. Divine can be embracing and loving. And how can we connect with that and imagine that? Not only in our language as we imagine, but in our imagination and in also our experience. So I think as a culture, especially Western culture, we've lost touch with that part. And I think part of what is going on wrong in our culture is that component. I imagine if we, as
Hmm.
individuals and as communities, connected with the divine feminine, we would shift our behavior more. Um, and again, that's just my assumption and my experience in training, what's been missing, and then experiencing the divine feminine, not only in personally, but in groups and communities, and what happens, there is a shift. And it is a shift of caring for, compassion with, wanting to be curious about, wondering why someone did something, wrong or bad, and want to understand and then doing something corrective as needed. So it's a
Hmm.
different approach, a different sense of well-being, and it's not either or. It's not just because we are attentive to divine feminine doesn't mean we say no to you know, more the protective God, strong.
Fatherly
Yes,
figure.
exactly. It's the both and. And because our culture hasn't done any connection with divine feminine over 2000 plus years, we need to do a little
Hmm.
more. It needs to get some more attention until there is a sense of balance. And that's going to take time. So that's another
Hmm.
passion I have for me personally and in communities who are open to that is how do you talk about the divine feminine, mother, goddess, loving, nurturing, enveloping, sitting on the lap? I mean, all the images you can just pop up. So,
You give us lots of truly interesting things to think about because
mhm,
in saying what you're saying about the divine feminine, I'm conjuring images up of that, maybe call it empathy,
mhm,
the sort of just caring
mhm.
for others that may
Yes,
be missing in our world. And
yes,
I think there's a big void there because we've all become, because of COVID, kind of robotic. Everything's digital, social media. We've lost a lot of that. They call it loving connection with people. Uh,
yes.
if somebody has feels lost, literally, in terms of their spirituality, how do they find you at Izumi Wellspring?
So there are a couple things you can do. We have a website, izumiwellspring.com, as well as my email is accessible to you and the phone number. So please just reach out. And again, I live in California, and if you are in New York or Massachusetts, Maine, um, anywhere on the East Coast or in the midsection of the US, you can contact me and we can still find connection in ways that we can meet your needs, open up a door that maybe you didn't know whether you can go through, and explore together.
I truly believe, just even looking at my own circles, probably 3/4 of the people I know are thirsty for some kind of spiritual something. They don't know what it is. They're trying to figure it out. Right. That's what it is. It's non-tangible. So you help people see the unseen, so to speak. And there are some that, have gone back to church and are good, but still feel a little bit lost. And then there's others that say, nope, I'm not doing a religion thing, not my thing.
Well, and it's interesting you say that. I've had a woman yesterday say, well, what does Izumi have to offer? And I tell her what I've been telling you. That sounds kind of cool. And I remind her, I said, Izumi Wellspring is beside a faith community. It doesn't, some people, it doesn't take the place of. People come to Izumi Wellspring Center and they go to their faith community. Others, faith community, traditional one hasn't worked. So this offers some support and a way of connecting with, something greater than themselves. So I'm okay with that. I'm okay. It's reaching out into the world and helping people connect when they feel spiritually thirsty and hungry and don't realize it.
And what we don't realize is once you have that aspect of your life nailed in some way, just figured out, or just you feel that connection, all the other things fall into place a little easier. If you find yourself struggling, maybe that's what's missing.
Right. And again, part of the spiritual, another language is finding meaning, finding value. That's what I put those words under spirituality. So,
gotcha. Erin, great talking with you today.
Yeah, thanks, Steve. It's good to be here with you.
Yeah.
Easy to connect with you too.
Yep. And we had a good connection. We had a little tech issue before, but you know what? Spirit wanted us to get the message out. I believe that. Look forward next time we get a chance to talk.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
We'll be right back.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.